Hey everybody, this is Chad Packer with another episode of Chad Talks Water Polo. Today we're going to be talking about the updates to the 2024-26 NFHS Water Polo Rules Book. Got some other videos out there if you want to head over to chadpacker.com and check those out. These are posted on YouTube, so if you wouldn't mind, hit that subscribe button and throw some comments on there for other videos to discuss. Now let's get started. The first update is around the color of the water polo ball. With all the innovations and new gear coming out, there are now a variety of water polo balls available to teams, so this update removes the requirement that the ball be primarily yellow. A whistled a tournament this summer where a team's white caps were actually yellow. So that's kind of a whole different discussion, but that might be an opportunity for this rule to help us out. The next update more clearly defines illegal players. Anytime a second player who is wearing a goalie cap enters the water for the same team, referees should whistle for an illegal player and go through the proper protocols that follow. The next rule is a very thoughtful update to help referees whistle teams who really use the rules book to their advantage. Here's where I see it being so. Let's say a team were to be 6-on-5 entering a quarter from a carryover exclusion, and the defensive team just sets up on defense rather than contesting the sprint. The 6-on-5 team could have, in theory, in the old rules book, swam up to the sprint, sent 5 players down to set up on offense, and then the sprinter could, quote, win the sprint, unquote, and then put the ball in play, thus maximizing their time. This rule now says the referee and timekeepers can consider it possession and start the clock as soon as the one sprinter gets there. This rule updates the rule put in place in the last rules book where corner throws were direct shots. If a referee removes the ball from the water for administrative purposes now, let's say a yellow or red card, maybe to replace a cap, to fix the clock, to check on an injury or something, when the ball is put back in the water, the player does not have to put the ball in play to shoot now. He or she can shoot directly. This addresses a rule related to the implementation of the goal box. When there is a foul committed inside the 2-meter area but outside the goal box, the ball is put in play at its location. If the ball is located inside the goal box when the foul is committed, the ball must be moved outside the goal box to be put in play. This is a new rule to NFHS. This needs to be interpreted and applied correctly by referees. In the prior rules book, the player closest to the ball still had to put the ball in play. This is different now. Here's a scenario, let's say. We often see a defender help backwards towards their defensive goal to put the ball under. If that defender is closer now to his or her offensive goal and a counterattack advantage exists, that's important, that player can now leave the ball for a teammate behind the ball, closer to the defensive cage. Please keep in mind there has to be a counterattack advantage for this to be applied correctly. This next rule applies to the new goal box. Players outside the goal box can now freely go inside the 2-meter line without the ball and not be penalized, as long as they're outside the goal box. I have an extensive video on this at chadpacker.com which talks about the new goal box and the application of the rules surrounding it if you want to go take a look at that. Keep in mind, now that the rules book has opened up more space for players to move on offense, any player inside the goal box, which is 2 meters away from the goal towards both sidelines and 2 meters towards the opposite goal line, should be whistled for offsides immediately. And this is the final update. This rule clarifies that no player can be ahead of the ball and be inside the goal box regardless of where the ball is. In other words, if the ball is inside the 2, but outside the goal box, the line of the ball still dictates that offsides line. Another addition to this is that all passes which go to a player inside the goal box must be lateral or backwards. A good analogy I've heard is the concept of the forward lateral in football. For referees, you need to be on the line of the ball. If it goes any bit forward to a player inside the goal box, regardless of time of release or time of catch, you need to whistle offsides. All right, if you have any questions, shoot me an email at chadpacker24@gmail.com or give me a shout if you have my cell. Again, head on over to chadpacker.com to check out more YouTube videos on water polo and hit that subscribe button to receive notifications of future videos. As always, Be good to the refs.